Hello everyone and welcome to my review for Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 130. I'm sure you've noticed that this has come out way later relative to the release of the chapter than most of my reviews do. And that's because, for some reason, today of all days, my internet decided to crap out. Isn't that great? So without internet access, I can't edit and upload my video. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to use the internet until Sunday at the latest. Hopefully, if I'm lucky, it'll be working again tomorrow. But if not, you're likely going to be seeing this on Sunday, uh, which is unfortunate. And this is especially unfortunate because I had actually wanted to record a live reaction for this week's chapter. I had specifically made an effort to not look at any of the RAWs, not look at any of the spoilers for the whole week. Trust me, it took a lot of self-control. I never do this, because I had a feeling that this week's chapter was going to be really hype. And it was. But unfortunately, you had the problems with the internet access. Like, when I first read the chapter, it had a bunch of troubles loading, and there was way too much shit going on in my house to, have an actual, nice recording session. So, unfortunately, we couldn't have that this week. Hopefully, next week will be a different story, but with all that out of the way, let's start talking about this week's chapter. And boy, do we have another great chapter this week. I guess there are two really important things to talk about. First of which will be Toto. So, for starters, Toto does in fact know Simple Domain. He apparently inherited it from Yuki, which seems to suggest that they did have some kind of actual student-teacher relationship. It wasn't just a one-time thing where they met each other. This also seems to suggest that Yuki does have Simple Domain in her arsenal of abilities. We know that she has, some kind of Shikigami thing, but we don't really know what she does, other than just being a special grade sorcerer. So we're finally getting some more insight into what exactly she's capable of. The next interesting thing about Toto is we finally see what's the deal with his necklace, and it's a little locket thing that has the pictures of the two most important people to Toto, Takada-chan and Yuji, his best boy and best girl. So, that was really some heartwarming, wholesome stuff there. If you need any further evidence that Toto is in fact best boy, there you have it. I think, at this rate, I like Toto more than Mahito, so I guess he's gonna go up a place in my list of favorite characters, which would be Nanami, Gojo, Toji, and now Toto, and then Mahito. And to clarify, I have Mahito up there because I hate him so much. But I think my guttural hatred for him has died down a little bit. I don't know what it is, because he keeps doing reprehensible shit. Even more so in this chapter. The little bastard just won't die. He's like a fucking cockroach. And every time he doesn't die, he just seems to keep causing more pain. Like he does this chapter, when he forces Toto to cut his own hand off. So, we had a feeling that that was going to be something Mahito would be trying to do, considering basically the whole threat behind Toto, at least to someone on Mahito's level, comes from his curse technique, and he needs both hands to use his curse technique. Or so we thought. So, Toto has a move that I'm now going to call the High Five, in which he just smacks his hand against someone else's hand, and it activates his curse technique. So, we had thought that a weakness of Toto was that if he's not able to clap both of his hands together, he can't use his technique. But apparently, that's not really a weakness that he has, which, combined with Simple Domain, actually kind of puts Toto higher on, the power ranking list, than I had originally had him. He may be, high enough to be in the number 10 spot? I don't know. I've kind of thought more about whether or not Hanami should be in the number 10 spot, because it's not really clear if Naobito or current Toto would be able to beat him on their own. I think Hanami has had, well, he's dead now, he had like the least showings of the disaster spirits. So like just based on feats alone, I kind of have to rank him as the lowest because we just didn't see as much from him in terms of capabilities as Dagon and Jogo, and especially now Mahito. But I think Toto is like way stronger now with the knowledge that he's able to do these things. So that's crazy. Now, time to talk about the real star of this chapter, that being Mahito. So, for starters, we get an explanation as to what the difference is between a normal domain expansion and doing a 0.2 second domain expansion, because there actually is a difference. So, we get into the specifics of the steps to doing a domain expansion, which is using cursed energy to create a innate domain, which creates the environment of the domain, and then imbuing it with a curse technique, which is the guaranteed hit attack. Those are two separate steps, but when you do a domain expansion in this short a period of time, you basically do them both simultaneously. And Mahito was only able to do this because of the Black Flash. It caused an awakening of cursed energy within. Now, with Gojo being able to do his domain expansion that quickly, well, for starters, it's Gojo, but I'm pretty sure it's also been implied that Gojo has experienced Black Flash. When they first talk about how sorcerers who have and haven't experienced it are on a different level, I'm pretty sure they had Ino and Urahime on one side. It's like, oh, these people haven't experienced it. And then Gojo and Nanamin on the other side, as this is like, you get put on a different level if you have or haven't used it. And these people that have used it are on a different level from the people who haven't. So that just goes to show you once again how useful the Black Flash is, I guess. Like, it's extremely important to the development of a sorcerer, or in this case, a cursed spirit. So, as we had suspected, activating his domain expansion does indeed get Mahito a little conversation with Sukuna. He is summoned to Sukuna's innate domain for just a moment. And this is fascinating, because, boy, does Mahito talk a big game. He tells Sukuna that Itadori will be dead before he can switch with him, so just shut up and watch. Man, nobody's ever talked to Sukuna like this before. Now, Sukuna does not seem concerned by this at all. If anything, he seems like kind of amused and smug during the entire interaction. So, I don't think Sukuna's too worried about what Mahito's doing. He's kind of like, alright, kid, I'll play your game for a little bit. I'll see what you can do. And then when Mahito gets all full of himself, he'll put him back in his place. We should remember that Sukuna has never used his binding vow with Yuji. He's never said enchain or whatever and then come out for a minute. He hasn't done that before. So I think he could if he wanted to. Now, we need to talk. We need to talk about Mahito coming to understand the true form of his soul. Instant spirit body of distorted killing. Jesus Christ. So he sheds his skin like a moth emerging from its chrysalis, its cocoon. Is there a difference? Do only butterflies have a chrysalis and then a moth has a cocoon? I don't remember. And he is not looking human anymore. Like, barely. He's got like an all-for-one face going on. I had noticed this earlier, or I had seen someone on Twitter talk about it, and now that I've looked over it, I see it a lot. Mahito seems to share a lot of the features of the other disaster spirits who have now passed on, but they had sort of forged the path for Mahito. They put him up on a pedestal to be, the leader of the cursed spirits. Sort of the ideal that they would have to strive after. So he's got a tail like Dagon, he's all buff, and he's got the missing face like Hanami, and he sort of seems to have flames or something coming off the top of his head. And he still has his patchwork like himself. So it's like he's sort of become this amalgam of all of the cursed spirits. You could say it's sort of like him carrying on their mission, their will, or whatever. Like, he's taken on all of the disaster spirits. And he has become the true curse they have wanted him to be. So, let me just say, happy birthday to the new King of Curses. This name is so ridiculous. It's not as ridiculous as Maharaga's full name, but it's quite a mouthful. Like, try saying Instant Spirit Body of Distorted Killing 5 times over, okay? It's big. It's a long-ass name. But, you know, with the way anime and manga work, is the longer the name is, with, like, a bunch of intimidating words in it, the scarier it is. Now, I don't know if I'm crazy or something. Like, maybe I'm just a lunatic. But with Mahito suggesting that this taking on of his true form is his birth, does that suggest that the Mahito we've seen over the last 115, 14 chapters was a curse womb? Essentially. Like, maybe not actually a curse womb, but might as well have been. It was just like a gestation period. Like, think of this. All of the shit that Mahito has learned, he was not even coming about into his true form yet. So, like, imagine where he can go from here. All of the stuff that has been happening thus far has just been like, oh, I'm just sort of learning and getting a grip on things, and now it's time for the real me to come out. That is terrifying. Like, if you thought Mahito was scary already with how much he learns things, he wasn't even a child. He was like a fucking cursed fetus. And now he's been truly born. Shed this sort of facade of humanity, and he's become a true curse. So, for a curse to learn and be as adaptable as Mahito was without even entering his true form, I think it's safe to say that if this is the culmination of all that, and that was just the first step, and now he's truly reached what he is supposed to be, and this is just him reaching his, like, base level of power. He's the new King of Curses. I think, like, can we agree now that now Mahito is definitely the strongest of the disaster spirits? Like, can we agree on it? We're going to see feats from him next chapter, and like, you can just tell from looking at it, it's gonna be ridiculous. I'm not gonna get, like, super ahead of myself here, but I had Mahito at what? The number 7 ranking? He could get higher up. He could get higher up with this, depending on where he goes with this. I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's gonna do another domain expansion, but, like, I would not be shocked if he had, like, the juice left to do another domain expansion. I wouldn't be shocked by that in the slightest. But this is really bad for Itadori and for Toto. Now, Itadori. He doesn't seem terrified. He just seems kind of more sick of Mahito's shit, you know, like the rest of us are. I think he's at the phase where he's just like, please, just fucking die already. I think back to the final battle of Demon Slayer, where Muzan is turned into the giant baby thing, and Himejima and the rest of the, like, medic Demon Slayers, they've got the chain around him trying to stop him from burrowing underground, and he's just saying, please, just die already, please, just fucking die. We are so sick of your shit, just fucking die already, please. That's where we're kind of reaching with Mahito here. Now, oh wait, I'm getting a little sidetracked here. I was about to go into a different topic. Right, Itadori. This is where he has to unlock the Sukuna techniques, or his own technique. the stuff that Itadori has been doing already has not been enough to kill Mahito. And now that Mahito has undergone this evolution into his true form, which I assume means that the form before this was like the baby form of Mahito, it was nothing. Now it's all been refined and perfected. He's a perfect life form, a perfect curse. Yeah, that like divergent fist shit, manji kick, it's not gonna do anything. You need some curse techniques now. And if there's any time to unlock, like, dismantle or whatever, now would be a good fucking time. Maybe learn, like, an incomplete version of Malevolent Shrine. That could be a little helpful. I think this is definitely where Itadori's going to need his big shonen protagonist power-up. We'll have to see what it is. I mean, Gojo said he should be getting Sukuna's curse techniques. I don't think a memory manipulation thing would be very helpful right now. I mean, he could just convince Mahito to not attack him, but, like, would Mahito give a shit? Like, even if he knew Itadori from his past, Mahito doesn't really strike me as a sympathetic person. He didn't really care that Hanami or any of the other disaster spirits were exorcised. So, even if Itadori managed to implant himself in Mahito's memories, I don't think he would really care. He's gonna need, like, some serious magic shit, or Sukuna will just be like, alright, enchain, give me a minute with this punk. I'm gonna put him in his fucking place. Now, I've been saying recently that I'm like, I don't know, it looks like Mahito could die with some of the stuff he's been saying, like, it's our last chance to curse each other, this domain expansion is all or nothing. And yeah, he did just enter a new form, but let's consider something here. A new king of curses has been crowned. Gojo Satoru is imprisoned in the prison realm. He's sealed away. Several grade 1 sorcerers are either dead or out of commission. A bunch of the schools have their students and staff either scattered or out of commission. If Mahito is not put down here, it's going to be like an apocalypse. Like, you think he's just going to go back to living in the sewer or whatever now that he's entered his true form, and become the most powerful curse of this era, probably? Fuck no. He is going to go on a rampage. He is going to kill everyone. So, I mean, that would probably be like a kind of interesting, horrifying thing to watch. But if Mahito is not killed here, he's going to be like a natural disaster. He's going to destroy everything. It will be a curse cataclysm. It will be like an apocalypse in Japan. So I think Mahito, now that he has turned into this thing, like, you just gotta kill him. Like, he's just getting so ridiculous. He's evolving at such an absurd rate. He's gonna reach singularity or whatever at some point. Like, he's gonna turn into some kind of higher level entity. You gotta kill him now. Like, just fucking put him down already. Please, God. Like, for the good of the world, we have to just kill him now. We can't let Mahito be around any longer. He is reaching too high levels. He's getting too broken. So now is the time for that. Well, I guess since this is recorded late, I could talk a little bit about this week's anime episode. It was good. I'm glad to see a lot of people loving Toto. The Jujutsu scroll bit at the end was hilarious, with Mai meeting Takada-chan. I wonder how many people Toto would do that for. But that's really all I have to say about that. Like, this wasn't one of those big, crazy episodes. We got to see a little bit of Nanami and Mahito at the end, which is nice. Hopefully, when we get to the Mahito domain expansion episode and Nanami's backstory, more people will, find Nanami to be the best character, as I have. I know, like, I've seen, like, Chibi said that now Toto's his favorite character. Of course, he hasn't met all the characters yet, so we'll see how long that lasts. But I have a feeling Nanami may be more of, like, a niche favorite character, because the way I talk about him, like, it's a very specific appeal for Nanami to be your favorite character, beyond just, like, the great writing. Toto and Gojo just sort of have like entertainment and attractiveness appeals that a lot of the other characters don't have, and Nanami doesn't really have. For me, Nanami, it's like how well written his character is why he's my favorite. But we'll just have to see. Once again, I'm really loving this anime. It's like one of the few things that I look forward to every week. You know, this year's been really shitty. And the shitty circumstances of the year have led to my life being a lot more boring, and a lot of the good things I had going for me at the start of 2020 just sort of coming screeching to a halt. So, at least at the end of the year, there's this new thing that I look forward to every Friday. And I mean, I still look forward to the manga every Sunday, but something the manga doesn't really have is like all the big reaction shit going on, because a lot more people watch anime than read manga, so I sort of get to vicariously re-experience going through early Jujutsu by watching all of these other people watch the episodes for the first time. So that is something that has given me a lot of joy in the last couple months, and I hope you've all been enjoying it as well. And with that, that's really all I have to say for this video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Jujutsu Kaisen chapter reviews every week, and I do Jujutsu Kaisen character discussions. You can check those out. I have a playlist on my channel. My next one will be on Toto, but as we see, Toto's future is kind of uncertain at the moment, and I want to wait until we have sort of a good stopping point where we can just be like, alright, there's nothing else going on with Toto right now, let's talk about everything going on with him right now, so that it doesn't become outdated in a week. So, if you're interested in that, you should definitely subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss it when it comes out. If you enjoy other series such as Record of Ragnarok, Chainsaw Man, and Kengan Omega, I do videos on those series as well, so if you're interested in those, you should definitely check out my channel. If you enjoy discussing Jujutsu Kaisen with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce on this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I have a link to it on my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.